Yo, today let's talk about the buyout market and look for some 3&D wings slash guards that the Lakers could potentially sign. I will give you guys 5 options. Some of these are probably unlikely, but I'm just going to give you names that personally interest me. We'll see if the Lakers will actually take a look at them. But with that said, let's dive straight into things. And before I transition us into our 5 options segment, if you guys could please do me the favor of liking this video, commenting down below, and most importantly, hitting subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. But yeah, with that said, here are 5 options at the shooting guard slash small forward position for 3&D defenders that I think the Lakers would be wise to look at. I'll give my rankings at the end. All right, let me jump into my notes, put on my glasses, and let's get on with my list. Number 1, let's talk about veteran Justin Holiday. So, Justin Holiday is currently playing overseas. I'm not sure if he has an NBA out. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. But, anyways, Justin Holiday is a 35-year-old veteran. He is 6'6 in height with a 7-foot wingspan. In his career, Justin Holiday has averaged 8 points per game and shot 36% from 3, knocking down 1.6 threes a game. So Justin Holiday is as meat and potatoes a wing as you can get. He's got solid size, he's got a solid wingspan, 7-foot wingspan, and he gets to his spots defensively. He is a great team defender and a good cog to place within your defensive scheme. He can also pressure at the point of attack. Last year against the Minnesota Timberwolves, he was pretty solid defensively against Anthony Edwards. And then offensively, Justin Holiday just knows his role and will space it out to the corners and take wide open catch and shoot threes and hit them at a pretty decent rate. Again, 36% career 3-point shooter. Think of Justin Holiday as a Kroger brand version of Taurean Prince, but somehow actually older. So if the Lakers are looking for more of an adult in the room, another veteran with experience, and if they're looking for some reliability, I think Justin Holiday is their man. And I believe Justin Holiday actually played with Luka Doncic on the Dallas Mavericks a few years ago as well, so there's that familiarity. All right, so that does it for Justin Holiday. Let's move on to number 2 and talk about Jaylen McDaniels. No, not Jaden McDaniels, that's his brother. I'm talking about Jaylen McDaniels with an L. So Jaylen McDaniels is 26 years old. He is a 6'9" wing with a 7-foot wingspan. As I mentioned, he is the brother of Minnesota Timberwolves wing Jaden McDaniels. Jaylen McDaniels last played for the Toronto Raptors, but more famously played for the Charlotte Hornets for much of his career. His best season came during the 2022-23 season when he averaged 10.6 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1.2 steals with the Charlotte Hornets. Now, Jaylen McDaniels is only a career 32% three-point shooter on low volume, 0.7 three-point makes, but he can knock it down in a pinch. So, in essence, Jaylen McDaniels is a long, lanky wing who's very athletic and can run the floor pretty well. He didn't pan out in his last few stops with the Philadelphia 76ers and the Toronto Raptors and has been out of the league this past season, although he has been playing in the G League. He likely has not panned out because he's a little too erratic offensively, and then defensively he can wax and wane as well, kind of like Cam Reddish. But with that said, Jaylen McDaniels has always had such intriguing physical tools and at times has also flashed some real upside on both ends of the floor, particularly on the defensive end. Jaylen McDaniels is a really good steals, ball hawk sort of player, and he's got really good positional versatility due to his length and mobility. He can guard wings and forwards, but also pressure up on and disrupt ball handlers at times as well. As I mentioned, Jaylen McDaniels is not a prolific three-point shooter, but he has at least shown the ability to hit this shot at a decent rate in the past. But most of all, he's just an explosive athlete who you can use as a lob threat, a cutting finisher, and a fast break transition demon. At the end of the day, Jaylen McDaniels is just physical clay with some upside. I kind of liken him to Cam Reddish, and if you're done with the Cam Reddish experience, maybe you don't want to touch any part of Jaylen McDaniels. But with that said, under the proper tutelage, under the proper molding, I do think Jaylen McDaniels could be a contending team's version of the next Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He's got the length, he's shown flashes in the past, and again, it's all about situation and mentorship, and in the right context, I think Jaylen McDaniels can once again bloom. All right, so that is Jaylen McDaniels. Let's move on to my number 3 option and talk about Oshae Brissett. Oshae Brissett last played for the Boston Celtics last year, and this year he's been playing with the Brooklyn Nets Long Island G League affiliate team. Oshae Brissett is 26 years old. He is 6'7" in height with a 7-foot wingspan. He's also a nice, strong 210 pounds. Oshae Brissett's best season came in the 2020-21 season with the Indiana Pacers when he averaged 11 points, 5.5 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block on 48% from the field, 42% from 3, hitting 1.6 threes a game. And so personally, I just love Oshae Brissett. I always have, I always will. And what I love the most about Oshae Brissett is the fact that he's just got a rock solid, hard bully ball frame to him. On top of that, he's a really explosive athlete with good hustle, motor, and defensive instincts. Last year in Boston, he gave the Celtics some much needed energy and life on the defensive end of the floor in the playoffs in their series versus Indiana. And overall, Oshae Brissett knows how to scrap, he knows how to be physical, and he knows how to muck it up defensively. On top of that, as I've already mentioned, he's also just a very athletic and explosive player. He's very fun in transition, he's a consistent lob threat, and he can put the ball on the floor at times, attack closeouts, and finish with some real flair at the rim. Also, Oshae Brissett can legitimately space the floor. Now, he hasn't been too consistent with his three-point shot in recent years, but I kind of just chalk that up to him not getting consistent minutes and a consistent role with his more recent teams, because when he was with the Indiana Pacers, he was actually a pretty decent volume three-point shooter. He had games where he was knocking down 4 or 5 threes on multiple occasions. He made 1.6 threes and 1.2 threes, shooting 38% from 3 in his last 2 seasons with Indiana, respectively. So I'm pretty confident in his three-point shot. And overall, I just love Oshae Brissett's combination of explosiveness, his physical frame, and his high motor and hustle. And at the end of the day, I think he could be a real infusion of dynamic athleticism and burst for a Lakers team that could use more transition finishers and lob threats. All right, number 4, let's talk about Nassir Little. Nassir Little last played for the Phoenix Suns last season. He's been playing with the Miami Heat's G League affiliate team this year. Nassir Little is still just 24 years old. He is 6'6" in height with a 7'2" wingspan, but he also weighs a pretty bulky 220 pounds. He is the former number 25th pick of the Portland Trailblazers back in 2019. Nassir Little's best season in the NBA came in the 2021-22 season when he averaged 10 points per game, 5.6 rebounds, 0.6 steals, and 0.9 blocks on 46% from the field and 33% from 3, knocking down 1.2 threes a game. In his career, Nassir Little is a 33% three-point shooter on low volume. So Nassir Little is pretty limited offensively, but like a lot of these other options, he's got really good length and a really sturdy frame. He can be a really imposing hound defensively on the perimeter, and he does a great job of chopping up his feet and keeping his arms high and in constant rotation to disrupt opposing ball handlers. In another lifetime, if everything shook out perfectly for Nassir Little, he probably could have been on that OG Anunoby type of trajectory, but he'll probably just have to settle for being the next Torrey Craig, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, the thing that I love the most about Nassir Little is his overall rock-solid, physically strong frame. Again, he's 220 pounds and super cut. He knows how to muscle dudes off on both ends of the floor. He knows how to get to his spots, and he knows how to cut off opposing ball handlers from their spots as well. And when you combine that bulky frame with his long 7'2" wingspan, you begin to see how domineering he can be on the defensive end of the floor. All right, for my last option, number 5, let's talk about Chuma Okeke. So Chuma Okeke actually just got waived by the Philadelphia 76ers, so he's now once again a free agent. He spent some time earlier on in the season playing with the New York Knicks G League affiliate, but yeah, Chuma Okeke is once again free. So fans will probably remember Chuma Okeke more for his time with the Orlando Magic. Chuma is now 26 years old. He is 6'8" in height with a 7-foot wingspan. Somehow Chuma Okeke is 229 pounds, but he doesn't look that huge, so good for him. Chuma is a career 32% three-point shooter and was the former number 16th pick in the 2019 draft by the Orlando Magic. Chuma Okeke's best season came in the 2021-22 season when he averaged 8.6 points, 5 rebounds, 1.4 steals, and 0.6 blocks, hitting 1.7 threes a game. So, at his best with the Orlando Magic, Chuma Okeke was a very solid, very versatile defender due to his size both in height and length. Earlier on in his career, Chuma Okeke was supposed to be more of a Tobias Harris-ish sort of guy who was more defensive-minded, but he just never put it all together and truly panned out. But like a lot of prospects on this list, Chuma Okeke has some great measurables and is very athletic and strong. In the past, he's had some very fun highlight reel sort of dunks earlier on in his career, like this tomahawk jam over the Los Angeles Lakers, and he's also shown some offensive versatility in the past as well as a jump shooter and as someone who can put the ball on the floor and attack the rim. It's just all been a little too erratic in his entire career. Defensively, for a guy his size to be able to move his feet the way he does is pretty impressive. He's always been a really good steals rate sort of guy who can muck up the passing lanes and help turn ball handlers over. My best description for Chuma Okeke's defensive capabilities would sort of be like the 3&D role player version of Kyle Kuzma in the Lakers' 2019-20 championship season, which I think is a very valuable player if Chuma can ever turn things around in a different situation and context. But yeah, at the end of the day, I have always personally been intrigued by Chuma Okeke because of his former lottery pick pedigree and just the fact that he has really good size, length, and athleticism. Alright, so that does it for my 5 3&D wing options. If I had to rank my top 3, I would probably go with number 3, Jaylen McDaniels. I still believe in his upside. He may be frail and lanky, but I think if honed correctly and harnessed correctly, I think the right team will be able to get the most out of his physical toolsiness. And overall, I just think it's rare to find 6'9" dudes who can be defensively disruptive. And so number 3, I'd go Jaylen McDaniels. Number 2, I would probably go Nassir Little, just because I like his bulky frame and size. And I also like that he's played for a competitive team before in his short stint with the Phoenix Suns last year. And yeah, I also just like that Nassir Little looks very physically imposing when it comes to defending the ball. And then number 1, I would probably go with Oshae Brissett. Aesthetically, I have just always liked Oshae Brissett's game. I like his big bully ball energy. I also think he has a pretty great, infectious, and eccentric personality. He can shoot threes, he hustles, he dunks, he boards, he moves guys out of the way. So give me Oshae Brissett, or brisket, because I want that meat. Pause. Alright, so that does it for this video. Let me know what you guys think of these options. Realistically, I don't think the Lakers will sign any of these players. These are just players that personally intrigue me and have intrigued me in the past. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you have any other ideas for 3&D defenders and wings that the Lakers could look at on the buyout market. And once again, if you guys could please do me the huge favor of liking this video, commenting down below, and most importantly, hitting subscribe on this channel, I would greatly appreciate it. And with that said, this has been Jonathan Hernandez of the Lakers Legacy Podcast, sporting the spectacles today. I will catch you guys after the All-Star break. And yeah, see you later. Peace.